So one of the things I've seen people do fairly frequently, and I think there's maybe some bad advice out there that's causing this, is that you'll see somebody respond to one of the performance notifications with the same reply over and over again. Somebody's told them, oh, just keep trying. Oh, just keep sending it back in. And if you keep sending the same reply over and over and over with the same language, that's not helping you because you could very well be wrong. And so you're just making it worse as opposed to, really stepping back and thinking about, is there a different way I could approach this? Are they looking for something different than what I'm giving them? Don't just come up with some kind of response or canned response or something copied from somewhere and then just send it over again and over again and over again, thinking that that's going to help. Because sometimes it's like, oh, you'll hear, oh, just keep calling and getting a different rep. Well, that could be beneficial, but that's different than sending the same thing over and over. That persistence is important, but not if you're just going to keep making the same mistake repeatedly. And along the same lines, I would say people can get really impatient. There are a lot of type A personalities selling on Amazon. And, if you recognize it's like, yeah, I'm pretty impatient, that might work fine for you in other parts of business or life, but not on Amazon. It seems like the more impatient you get on Amazon, the more frustrated you get, the worse it is for you. You're just like getting caught up in a net and getting more and more tangled. And so one of the things you don't want to do is keep opening cases, keep replying to cases before they responded. You really want to wait until Amazon responds to you, even if that's a week, even if that's 2 weeks. You don't want to keep opening cases because when you open cases on top of cases, that causes a lot of confusion and is not in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. When it comes to seller performance, first of all, I say this to people. If you ever get a seller performance notification, this is nothing to do with support. Support, you can open as many cases as you want. But seller performance is you get one shot when you get a performance notification. And that one shot has to be a conclusive shot in terms of what, number one, explain what happened. Number two, explain what you're doing to fix it. And number three, explain what you're doing so that this never happens again.
Yeah,
that's really what you need to put.
Main points.
Yeah, that's it. And it has to be not bulleted, but numbered list. Number one, first explain what one line. I'd like to put one line, just making a statement about your regret and the reason. And here is what we have found. Number one, number two, number three, as why, what you're doing to fix, and then what will you do in the future. And then you ask for them to reconsider based on this.
So those 3 points, that's the structure essentially of your plan of action. It may also be the structure of when you're replying and you're submitting information and they give you a text box to put it in. That's the structure that you'd want to have your language follow in that text box. And when you say, what happened, that's your root cause. You've got to put on your research, your investigative hat, and you've got to be able to explain very thoroughly but succinctly to Amazon what's the root cause of this problem, what caused it, where did this issue arise, and you want to be very, very careful with that. Obviously, you want to make sure that you know what they think the problem is.
Now, a lot of the times I've seen people, they send a reply and they ask a question.
Don't do that.
Do not ask questions.
Don't do that.
Seller performance. And by the way, I did this, in my very early years. They said that we have reason to believe you're selling counterfeit items. This is a long time ago. And I asked which is the ASIN you're referring to. They said, you are selling the items. You're supposed to know that. So if you do anything wrong, first of all, they'll come back. They'll come to you with anything. You are guilty before you are found innocent. That's how
Sure.
how seller performance treats sellers. So
Pretty
if
much.
something happens, I mean, a lot of the times there are two things. Seller performance treats all sellers as guilty before found innocent, period. That's how they treat everybody. And you don't like it, you don't have to sell on Amazon. It's their own backyard. So that's the way you have to deal with it. And the other thing is, sellers are held to a high standard because Amazon provides best customer experience, and you are there benefiting from their branding of best customer experience, and they don't want you doing anything that will damage that. So that's why they have every right to hold you to standards that may be hard to meet. If that's the case, there's nothing you can do, right?
I wouldn't say there's nothing you can do, but
Well,
it's
you can
important to have
improve,
that
but
perspective. It's
yeah,
important to have that mindset and accept that the general principle is they're right and they think you're wrong. They think you've made a mistake. They're not out to get you, but they think you've made a mistake. They think that there's some error, you know, on your part, and you've got to figure out what it is, what caused it, and how to fix it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So
Can we back
yeah,
up
so
for just a second?
sure.
This has nothing to do with the best practices related to seller performance per se.